money, I usually spend it a lot, especially like this. Being a 25-year-old man, I always want to spend it when it comes to adventure, travel, and going and eating outside because I think that's a great opportunity for me to enjoy life during this stage.
Great. And what kinds of things would you like to do in the future when you go out?
Mm, that's an interesting question, rather. I think the great thing that I want to do in the future, if I will be having a lot of money, then definitely I would like to travel the world because it's for me it's a great chance to meet new people from other perspectives, and also it's also the chance for me to discover the world also.
Great. Okay. And so, Oscar, we're going to switch to part two, and I will give you a minute. So Jeff is going to put the question on the
Yes,
screen.
sure. But wait, Oscar, could you please turn on your camera so at least Mandy could see what is
It's
Okay,
your
okay.
wait.
It's okay.
expression? No, we'd love to see Oscar. So
I'm a
every
bit shy.
candidate, yeah, no problem. But this is the time you need to unleash your shyness or you need to overcome.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so now I'm gonna share it. Okay,
Okay, so after I read it, I will give you a minute and then I'll let you know when the minute is over, and then you can have 2 minutes after that. So,
Okay.
Oscar, describe a fun indoor game you played as a child. You should say what the name of the game was, what the aim of the game was, who you played with, and explain why it was such fun for you. And you can have a minute starting now.
So if we have different ways of expressing ourselves, and
Okay, Oscar. And now you can have 2 minutes to give me your answer, and you can start now.
Okay. We all know that sport could create a good relationship to everybody, and I definitely agree with that. Today, I'm going to talk about a particular indoor game which I played when I was a kid. Actually, it was the basketball. And as far as I remember, I usually played it when I was, I think, at the age of 8 or 9 because it's a best way for me to have the quality time from my brother. And aside from that, I really love enjoying this game because it's also for me it's also an opportunity to get bond with with our relatives, especially with my cousins. So I really love and enjoy this kind of game. Aside from that, when we were playing this basketball, I also realized that it's not just about the sport but also the camaraderie. I always believe that whenever you played with other people, it's an opportunity to socialize with the strangers and be friends with them, and I think that's the good thing on playing this kind of sport. Actually, a lot of my friends nowadays, I met them because of this sport, because I'm a type of person who usually play this game whenever I have my available time during weekends, particularly Saturdays and Sundays in the 5 p.m. in 5 p.m. Aside from that, I always, as far as I remember, whenever I also have my available time, I always call my brother to play that in my cousin's house, mainly because they have their good covered court and also the gymnasium as well. And aside from that, the most interesting part of that is whenever we played this kind of game, my cousin's mother would absolutely prepare a good snacks. As far as I remember, it's pasta
Okay.
and all with okay.
That's great. Good. You had a lot to say. Good job. Okay. Awesome. All right. I'm going to move right on to part 3 for you. Are there a lot of places in your country for young people to go out?
There are a lot. There are a plethora of places where teenagers could visit, especially amusement park. Actually, in the Philippines, in every hometowns or even municipality, there are always amusement park because it has been part of the project of the government. And aside from that, there are shopping centers, amenities, and sports facilities where they could have their quality time and also get bond with their friends as well.
Good. Okay. And what kinds of live entertainment are popular in your country?
I would probably say concerts. And to be honest, I always want to go in a concert, especially if the vocalist is very popular and also from other countries. I remember when One Direction, which is one of the popular boy bands worldwide, when they visited the Philippines, I was enthralled to visit this concert because I always want to see them playing personally, and so I think concert is one uh, of the amazing entertainment which Philippines has.
Okay. And what places would you recommend a tourist go for entertainment in your country?
Let me think. But I would suggest the Boracay because when I visited there way back 2018, I totally enjoyed my travel there, mainly because of the serenity of the environment and also the locals there. And aside from that, I find the place a perfect time for concerts, mainly because they have a lot. It is spacious, and also there are a lot of places where they can do such these entertainments, and also you will be able to see a lot of people, especially those individuals who came from other nations.
Great. And that concludes the speaking portion of this test.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, I was looking for more questions, but there weren't any more. Okay. All right, great. Okay, Oscar, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Let's go over part 1. So overall, I think that you spoke more than you did last time, especially on part 1. You gave me more information, especially on part 2. You really know a lot about basketball, and it seems like it's an important part of your life, even from your past to your present. So it seems like it's really affected you, and I can hear that in the way that you talk about it, especially your tone and kind of some emotion and feeling when you're talking about it. So that was really good. So I said I was talk about part 1. So when do you usually like to go out? What kinds of things do you like to do when you go out? You use the word actually to start a good amount. Actually, whenever I have spare time, usually, things like that. So one thing I did want to mention is you said actually whenever I have my spare time. So it's not incorrect, but we typically don't say when I have my spare time. We just say when I have spare time,
Okay.
or when I have some spare time. So you don't have to say that it belongs to you because I think it's already assumed. And then you had mentioned that you want to go in a certain adventure. So let's just make sure that you're saying you're going on an adventure. So
Okay,
instead of going into something, which means you're actually going inside, you're going on an adventure. And you said, if you will be having a lot of money. So I like that conditional. Let's just say, if I have a lot of money instead of if I will be having.
Okay.
And then some great vocabulary that you used were toxicity, environment, how you talked about you could discover yourself, and you talked about being on a larger scale. And during this stage in your life, those were some great things that you used. As well, you also used basketball, and you talked about, teenagers going places, and you wanted to talk about them bonding with their friends. So the words that you said were get bond with their friends as well. So let's think of a different way to say it. So they go to these places to bond.
Okay,
So just to bond. They don't have to get bonded or anything like that. They can just bond.
Okay,
so it's a good place to bond with your friends. Like how you said you used basketball to bond with your brother and with your cousins.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Okay. And then you said also that you would want to go on a concert. So let's just make sure you would like to go to a concert.
Okay.
Instead of on a concert or in a concert. And then you said concert is one of the amazing entertainment that the Philippines have. So when you're talking about concerts in general, make sure you add that S. So concerts are,
Okay.
so it's a larger thing. Concerts
yes.
are one of the amazing entertainments that the Philippines has.
Okay, Mandy.
Okay. And then can we go over, so you answered all the questions about part 2 perfectly. You said an indoor game. I wasn't sure if everyone understood when the question says, what is the aim of the game? Jeff, that's a funny way of putting what is the goal of the game. So it's a different vocabulary word, but you blew right past it. You knew what it was. So you know the point of the game is, camaraderie and coming together. But it also is to create a good relationship with everybody. And I love the way that you started it. You said, we all know that sports can create a good relationship with everybody. That's a great introduction.
Yeah.
Very good. You should be proud of yourself for that. And then
because I'm trying to give general information first about the topic before I answer the part 2. I always
great.
That's
a great tip for everybody.
With my previous performance, I always say that today I'm going to talk about that. I think that's a bad thing, so that I probably go to the general information first before answering the question.
Yeah, and what you did is you just took your answer from a one level to another level is what you did. So you stepped it up one more level right there by saying sort of a generalized statement, and then you backed up your statement with all of your examples. So that was a good job. Can you say the word indoor for me really quick? Indoor, yeah. So it's an indoor sport, which is funny because first I was like, it's not an indoor sport. But then I was like, yes, it is. It can be both indoor and outdoor. Yeah, it can be both.
As long as you have the covered court.
Yeah, so area. Good idea. That was very technical, but yeah, good job there. Yeah, and then you said you use it to spend quality time for my brother. So just make sure you're spending quality time with your brother.
Okay.
And then I want to hear you say your brother and who are the other family members. Let me hear you say what their names are. They're your
cousins.
Cousins. Good. So one time you said it just a little bit different, but then you fixed it the next time. And let's say the word teenagers.
Teenagers.
Yeah. I think maybe it was just that one time. So it's teenagers. Yeah. Teenagers. Great. Sometimes we can emphasize the different part. And then one other thing that you had just a little bit of difficulty when you were coming to the end and talking about now when you have free time, you said in 5 p.m. You want to say that
Yeah.
it's at
Yeah.
5 p.m.
Yeah, at 5 p.m.
That's
Yeah.
okay. It was a long 2 minutes, and you were going strong towards the end. And can you pronounce the word gymnasium for me?
Okay. Gymnasium.
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 Yeah, I know.
Gymnasium.
Yeah,
Gymnasium.
that's great. You did it
Okay.
great. And I know that you're showing off saying a really big word. We also call it just a gym or a gymnasium. So yeah, whichever one you want to call it.
Okay.
And then I really liked how you said at the end, when I asked you about your suggestions, and you said, let me think. I would suggest, and
Yeah.
it was like we were having a real conversation here. And so you did a good job there. And I liked how you used the word socialize, camaraderie, actually, nowadays. The only thing that I would just work on is those few pronunciations and those small, like little articles where you're saying, I want to
Yes.
go to a concert. I want to go bond with their friends. And if I have a lot of money and I want to go on an adventure and bond with my brother. And places where you can, one other thing that you said at the very end was places where they can do such entertainment. So instead of doing entertainment, you can have entertainment.
Have entertainment. Okay.
Yeah, so places where you can have entertainment. And I think from the last time I talked to you to this time, your flow and your fluency was better. It was good.
Yeah, it's mainly because I'm trying to calm myself.
You did whatever you're doing to calm
I don't want to
yourself.
mess up.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you drinking heavily before? But yeah, you did great. It was
Kind
good.
of.
Yeah, whatever calming techniques you are doing, they're working. So good job.
Yeah, thank you, Mandy. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oscar. I know
Yes,
that
sir.
Oscar is always be present to redeem himself. Not really, it's always there. Keep coming back. Okay, thank you, Oscar. Next candidate would be Mylene. Mylene, please turn on your camera and your microphone.
Hi, Mylene.
I need your camera and microphone. Mylene, where are you?
I can see her, but I can't hear her yet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, now I can.
Yes. Perfect.
Is my audio
Make it louder. I cannot hear you that much.
okay.
Hello, Mylene. Ask to unmute. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, yeah, that's good. I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, Mandy.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, so Mylene, how do you usually contact your friends?
Well, of course, I think everyone of us using internet right now. So that's my way in contacting my friends to Facebook, and then through Facebook internet.
And why?
Oh, sorry. Because this is the only way or cheapest way for me to contact them, rather using the telephone or the landline. So I found it easiest for me to use this kind of media.
Great, okay. And do you prefer to contact different people in different ways, and why?
Well, I think it depends upon the what kind of relationship I have, or what kind of work I'm doing. When it comes to my friends, I use my phone through internet. However, when it comes to work, I rather use the telephone or contacting them by calling, not only by texting or because I think it's very not formal, informal. If it's related to work or meeting by just texting them, so I use email or just contact them.
Okay. And do you find it easy to keep in contact with friends and family? Why or why not?
For me right now, I think yes, it's easy for me to contact them, even though my families are far away from me. I'm here in Manila, here in the Philippines, and my families are in the province, which is 8 hours going there. So whenever I want to talk to them, I'll just use my phone to chat with them. So yeah, it's easy.
Okay. And in your country, did people in the past keep in contact in the same ways that they do today?
Well, in the past, it's different. I think uh, 30 years ago, it's different when it comes to contacting people because before using a letter or a telegraph just to receive a message coming from you or coming from other people, but nowadays it is very easy because of the advancements of the technology. We only click the button on our cell phone or on our computer, so it's very easy. So there is a big difference when it comes before and now.
Great. Okay. And okay, so we are going to switch to part 2. So Jeff will put it on the screen. And I'm going to read it to you, and I will need to put my timer on for 1 minute. And okay, which program on TV or radio do you often listen to? You should say what it is, what is that about, why you listen to it, and say what you think could be improved about its output. And I'll give you a minute now. Okay. All right, Mylene. And now I'll give you 2 minutes and you can tell me your answer. Go ahead.
All right, so forms of media are very important to each and every one of us so that this is the way we can listen or we will know what is happening around. I think the radio or the TV program that I always listen to is uh, the name of that show while is it's Showtime. It is a show here in the Philippines after lunchtime. It aired in the television channel 2, particularly ABS-CBN channel. It is aired during 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 3 p.m. I'd like to watch this show because whenever I watch this, I feel disconnect with my problem or uh, lots of work inside the house or after work. So it is the way where can I unwind myself. And the thing is, I really love this show because it invites people, especially here in the Philippines, those who are less fortunate people. They help when it comes to inviting the people to join a contest, such as dancing or any talents that they can show to the people around. The thing that I don't like or I
Okay,
would like to improve.
there you go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mylene. Now I really want to know what you want to improve. Okay, we're gonna go right to part 3 and let's get started. Do you believe everything you read in the newspapers?
I think not everything. It depends if that newspaper is reliable. I believe in that. Or if not, I look for another forms of media. If I am doubtful to what I've read on the newspaper, I research on it.
Great, okay. And how has TV changed people's lives?
Well, television plays a vital role for the people, especially those who are watching it. They it changes the people mindset. For example, they want to buy something through advertisement, what they watch on TV. They believe that it is okay, even though it is not.
Okay. And what do you think of children watching TV?
Sorry, Mandy, do you mean what do you think children are watching?
I just said, what do you think about children, or what do you think of children watching TV? What is your opinion on children watching TV?
Well, children, when it comes to watching television, it helps them because there are also program on the television that will help them educationally. Here in the Philippines, there is a particular program on TV that will help to the children, such as toddlers. There is a lecture like reading and counting, which is very important to the children to learn.
Great. And how has social media changed the way we get and share the news?
I haven't thought about that question before. However, social media is very important forms of media that can give information to the people. So sometimes there are news on social media which is not which is fake news rather, that make the people confused. For example, nowadays that we are facing pandemic, I've watched or I've read on the Facebook that the vaccine for the pandemic for the COVID-19 will somebody will put chip on it so that uh, in the future it likes that all the people will be like a robot.
Great, awesome. I have heard this too. That concludes the speaking portion of your test. I'm sorry. I was trying not to laugh at that news that I heard too. Yeah, it's very interesting news. I'd call it a little, like what you said, fake news. So yeah. Okay, how do you feel, Mylene? Are you okay?
Oh, it's a nerve-wracking experience, Mandy, but it's my pleasure to be part of this kind of meeting. But I
Okay.
got confused on the part two. I got confused on that, the question about what you listen to television
Yeah,
and radio.
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So what confused you about it? Did you have trouble picking a program?
Yes, because there was a first program that comes into my mind, and then after that, when the minute is over, I think another radio program. So
Yeah, you have a better idea.
I got a bit I got a bit confused. Television and then radio listen to.
Yeah. Yeah, and this doesn't even bring up a new kind of program. We have TV, we have radio, and now we also have podcasts, which are basically like radio on the internet. So I'm glad they didn't throw that in there too. But yeah, I think you did a good job. Overall, I feel like you had a good amount to say. I think as it went on, and just on that last question there, I paused and waited for you, and then you gave me more. So that was great. So you said, for example, and you gave some more information about the fake news about the pandemic. So if you can try to push yourself just to give a tiny bit more on each question, I think that you'll do great. Not part two. Part two, you had enough to say, but on part one and part three, when you have those personal questions, actually, I think on part one you did excellent, but just part three, just try to give a tiny bit more information. But you obviously knew part one really well about how you stay in contact with your friends. How do you contact different people differently? Do you find it easy to stay in contact? And so you said beginnings of sentences like, well, of course, I think everyone is using the internet right now. And well, I think it depends upon what kind of relationship. And I could hear in your voice that you were going to tell me two different types of relationships. So you're using good intonation and good, some good flow right there when you're speaking. And you said, when it comes to this type of person, however, when I'm talking about this person, this is how I communicate. So you talked to me about, you said something was not formal, but then you corrected yourself and changed the word to informal. So that was really good right there. And I liked how I said communicate, and I couldn't think of many other ways to say that, but you said chat. And I'm like, of course, that's a much easier, it's a very common way to say talk, communicate, chat. So that's a good change of vocabulary there. I did want to clarify, when you were talking about communication in the past, did you say telegraph or telegram? Which one was it?
It's supposed to be telegram.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I wasn't sure which one. I wanted to make sure I heard it correctly. So do you know the difference between telegraph and telegram, obviously?
All right, Mandy.
That's okay, no problem. I understood what you meant, but I was like, did I hear her correctly? And then you used words like advancement and technology when you were bringing the past and talking about the past to the present. One thing I wanted to talk about really quick is, could you say the word cheapest? Cheapest?
Cheapest.
Cheapest. Okay. So you're talking about something that is the most cost effective, right? Something that is not expensive.
All right.
Yeah. I think I wanted to make sure that I heard it correctly, but I thought you said something different at the beginning, but I think you said cheapest. Cheapest. So it's a not an easy word to say. And just some small grammar things. You said my way in contacting my friends. So you want to say my way of contacting my friends. And then you said a few times, you said, even though my families. So I wasn't sure if you were trying to say multiple families or family apostrophe S? Even though my family is away? Is that what you were saying?
Family is, all right, okay. So families are like that.
Even though my family's, I think it sounded like you were saying it was plural. Let me see if I have something. I'm gonna pull out my whiteboard.
I think family, what I meant, families.
So I wasn't sure if you said, even though my family is. So if you want to say my family is, you just say my families.
My family, okay.
And then I thought it sounded like you were saying families, like you had more than one family. So I know it doesn't matter when you're speaking out loud. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly. So you were saying, even though my family is in Manila, is that right?
Even though I'm here in Manila and my families are in the province.
So that's it. My families are.
Okay.
So when you said, even though my families are. So right here, it sounds like you have multiple families. Do you have multiple families or do you have one?
I'm trying to say with families, relatives and then my brothers.
Yeah. So you can say, if you want to change it to that, you can say, even though my family members are,
okay.
even though my family members are 3 hours away. So we can say, even though my family members, because family is a singular, it's a whole one, it's use it as one. So family is instead of family are. But if you want to say my family members are far away.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I hope I didn't confuse you. And
Yes,
sorry for bringing out the whiteboard. Okay, so we've got through that. And then can you say the word advertisement for me?
Advertisement.
Yes, okay. So I want to tell everybody here that it's okay to say it like me. I say advertisement, but you're going to talk to other people that call it advertisement.
Oh, yeah, advertisement.
So, and that's okay. Either way is fine. So the way I say it is American English, and you're hearing maybe British or Australian advertisement. So they are the same thing. I just wanted to say it to you. You said it very proper. And I said it very American. So, okay. And then one other thing, Mylene, let's talk about part 2, the radio or TV program. I like in the beginning, you gave me sort of like Oscar did, like a generalized statement about why TV and radio are important. So that was good. And you said the TV program is called It's Showtime. And you said it airs, and I liked how you said that. It doesn't just come on, but it airs, A-I-R-S. That's perfect. So it airs on channel 2 during, but you did say during 1 o'clock until 3 p.m. So you can say from 1 o'clock until 3 p.m. But you also mentioned the word lunchtime. So you could say it also airs during lunchtime if you want to use the word during. So let me change that whole sentence and say it outright for you. It's showtime. It comes on from 1 o'clock until 3 p.m. during lunchtime. It airs on channel 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. You just have a lot of different ways there of saying the same thing. So you did great. And I wanted to say I liked what you said, that when you watch it, it makes you feel disconnected from your problems. So it takes you to a different reality, right?
Just a lie.
Yeah, that's okay. And you said It's the way where I can unwind myself. You don't have to say myself. You can just say, it's the way where I can unwind.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't have to unwind yourself. You just unwind.
okay.
And then I liked how you talked about less fortunate people on there. That was a great way of saying, a nicer way of saying poor people or people who don't have a lot of money. Less fortunate is a great way to say that. And then let's talk about part 3. You said some great things. I think it depends. Well, when it comes to this, and I loved how you said, I haven't thought about that question before. However, and then you still gave me an answer. It shows me that you can think right on the spot. And then you also used sometimes when you were talking. And I like some of the vocabulary that you used. You talked about a news source being reliable, or if something is doubtful, that you're going to do some more research. And we talked about the word TV a lot, and I like how you changed it to television. So instead of just saying TV, 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 TV over again, you switched and you said television. And you said that it plays a vital role, and there are particular programs that children can use. And you used a very trendy term now called fake news, which you did great on. And then I just wanted to talk really quickly about a few grammar things that you said. Another forms of media. So you just say another form of media. And then you said it changed the people mindset. So it changes or changed the people's mindset. So the mindset belongs to the people. So it's people apostrophe S. It changed the people's mindset.
Oh,
And then you said there is a particular program to children. So let's not say it's 2 children, but it's 4 children. Okay? And then I loved how you said nowadays that we are facing the pandemic and things like that. So my only recommendation to you on part 2, and you already told me what you did wrong, is that you had an idea and then you changed. So even if your first idea gets changed, I guess maybe other people could recommend stick to the first thing in your mind, because you started to talk slower on part 2 and you gave yourself less time to give me ideas. So I cut you off before you could give me all of the information.
all right. Yes.
So even if you make something up for part 2 that's not even real, stick to your first idea. Okay. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Mylene.
Oh, thank you so much, Mandy. It
You're
was a
welcome.
very big help.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mylene, for showing your braveness.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was just gonna read some of the comments. Someone said that you look beautiful from Saber. Mandy is so pretty, like a Barbie doll. And then April said, well, informative discussion, direct to the point, correction of improvement. Thank you, Mandy. With heart, eyes. I
Oh,
learned a
heart.
lot.
I don't know how to do heart eyes.
And also, Louis, can we also take photos, Sir Jeff? Maybe he's gonna take a
Just
photo.
don't take a picture of my incorrect month.
Okay. I said that, yeah, it's fine as long as with good caption.
Yeah,
Okay.
if our faces look really weird, can we all agree to not save that photo?
Okay. So thank you. For next candidate would be Teray Molina. Okay. Please
Okay.
turn on your camera.
So,
Teray.
Tara, can you let me spell your whole name really quick because I'm just taking notes. Is it T-E-R-A? Can you hear me? Tara Mylene. I can see your name, but I can't hear you. Let me see if I can. Can you hear her, Jeff? Or is it just me? I can't hear Jeff either.
I'm mute. Okay. Teray, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me, Tara? Say yes or no. You can hear me. Okay.
We cannot hear you. we can't hear Terai. Terai. Yes, okay. Hello, Terai. I think we cannot hear you, Terai.
That's okay. It's muted right now. Let me
Okay.
unmute it. Why can I not unmute her?
Yeah, it's already on mute. So try to speak, Terai.
I see her mouth moving.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you want me to try to come back to her and
yeah,
then see?
yeah. I think we will go for our next candidate. Please try it, Terai. Okay. So our next candidate would be, what's her name? It's letter Z. Zia.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, Zia.
Hi,
Okay.
Zia.
Hi. Hi, Mandy. Hi,
How are you?
Serga. I'm doing great so far.
Good. Okay, I'm writing your name down here. Zia May Suarez?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna use the part C, Jeff, for Zia. Is that okay? And then if Tara works, I'll switch over to part D for her. Okay, all right, Zia, let's get started. Tell me a bit about your family.
So, to be completely honest, we're a nuclear family. So, unlike any other Filipino family, we don't live inside a house that contains a lot of people. For example, we don't allow our uncles or aunts to stay here, and generally, we like to live independently. So, that's my thought on that.
Okay, good. And so what do your brothers and sisters do?
So I only have one sibling, so that's a little brother, and he's way taller than me. So currently he's a student in a marine. How do I say this? In a marine or seafarers academy, because he wanted to follow the steps of my father, who is also an overseas worker and a seafarer.
Great. And where are you from?
So I'm currently residing in Iloilo. So that's located in the Visayas region of the Philippines, specifically in Region 6. And it's a region wherein it's full of people who are lively and loving. That's why they call it the city of love.
Great. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of living here?
That's quite hard to say. However, based on my experience living here for the past 22 years, I think the main benefits of living here in Iloilo is that the people here are approachable. So unlike living in urbanized areas like Manila or Cebu, for example, you can just approach and ask people for directions, and they will help you right away without any hesitations at all. Probably the main fallback of living here is that there's a lot of traffic jams because Iloilo is one of the developing parts of the country. So you expect people to buy a lot of cars and the like in order to travel from one place to another.
Great. Okay. So we are going to move on to part 2. And Jeff will put it on the screen and I'll get my timer ready. All right. So Zia, I'm going to read this and then I will give you a minute. And then once you hear the timer go off, you can have 2 more minutes to give your answer. Describe a course you took in your college or university. You should say what it was, when you took it, what you learned from this course, and explain why you took this course. And you can have a minute now. Okay. And Zia, you can have 2 minutes starting now. Go ahead.
As we all know, college is pretty much one of the hardest stages in every student's life because you have to hurdle a lot of challenges and you need to pass a lot of requirements on time along with studying for your exams on the same day. Now, in my position, I used to study or I graduated as a nursing student from the West Visayas State University last 2018. So I studied about in the June of 2014. So basically, nursing or the Bachelor of Science of Nursing is mainly taking care of people. Now, on the contrary, some might think that this course is mainly just training students to be handmaidens of doctors. And I may say I did have that thought before I actually signed up for that course, but that actually changed my perspective when I started learning a lot of things from anatomy, physiology, pathology, and even how drugs interact in certain parts of our body and how cells would protect us from certain diseases. Also, it wasn't my decision, to be quite honest, to pursue this course. However, we are a family of health professionals and here in the Philippines and maybe in other third world countries as well, parents determine the future of their children and they do choose the courses for their children. Especially here in the Philippines, if you're a girl, then definitely you should choose or take nursing. If you're a boy, you should.
Sorry for cutting you off.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move right on to part 3 for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Zia, do you think you will have many difficulties adapting to a new culture?
That's one hard question, but to be completely honest, yes, because I'm the type of person who has this ritual of activities wherein I stick to. So I'm the type of person who lists down things and who always strives to fulfill all of these. Now, a disruption from these patterns may cause me to feel some kind of a culture shock, especially if I'm trying to adjust or try to not really adjust, but adapt to another culture, especially if it's from the western part of the world.
Okay, good. And do you think that there will be any major changes in your field of study over the next few years?
Yes, I do think so. Definitely. Because I'm actually planning to, if I pass the NCLEX and the IELTS, because my grandmother actually told me that there are a lot of opportunities to improve myself in terms of studies and professionally. And when I get a job in the US, and if I'm in a stable condition already, I'm planning to pursue medicine there. So I think that's a great shift. It's like a 180 turn for me from being a nurse to being a doctor. And hopefully if I find a scholarship there, then I'm hoping that would happen.
Good, awesome, okay. And what do you intend to do once you have finished I'm sorry, let me back up. How do you think an overseas degree will improve your professional skills?
That's a tough question right there. But if you try or based on my experience as a person from a university, all of our books are actually published abroad, and none of the things that I have read in the university are published by Filipinos. So that only means that if you try to pursue your studies or just learn abroad, you have an international what do you call this? I forgot this term. And you're at par at the international standards, which makes you someone who is capable and who has the credentials to actually work abroad and to also help the people in your country.
Excellent. Okay. And what do you intend to do once you have finished your studies?
It's actually my dream to come back here in the Philippines as a doctor because I wanted to be a what do you call this? A barangay doctor. So that means I want to be placed in or deployed in a town wherein people are or don't have the ability or the means to see a doctor because I actually been to a lot of programs wherein people tell me that they can't afford primary health care. And I want to change that. I want to spearhead something that could somehow change the means of healing or curing people. And well, it's actually a basic understanding here that health isn't a something it isn't a right now. It's actually a privilege because only the rich can afford it and the masses are left to suffer sometimes, and that's the reality, and that's why I want to come back here to help people.
Wow. Let me wipe my tears. Okay. And what do you see yourself doing professionally in 10 years' time? And how do you see your personal life changing?
10 years is a long time, to be completely honest, but considering that I need to process all my requirements here, so that's around 2 to 3 years, and I need to finish my contract here in the US for another 3 years, so that's 6 years already, and I need another 4 years to study. So probably at that time I'll be a new graduate or a new graduate doctor. So I need to further study in order to get my license first, and probably after 2 years of specialty I can come back here for reals in the Philippines and do what I want to do. So it takes a lot of time actually, but I think I can do it.
Great. That concludes the speaking portion of your test.
Well, thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. Good job. Can you take a breath? Are you okay?
Yeah, I can still feel the jitters right now.
That's okay. Well, I will tell you my initial impression of you, and it has not changed, is that you are very confident.
That's great to hear.
Even if you don't feel like you're confident, you exude it, you give off confidence, and that to me just makes me like, oh, she's got this, you know. She understands, you understand, you've got it. So even if you don't have it, you're pretending that you do, and it works very well for you. So good job on that. I don't have very much negative to say. The only thing I would encourage you to help with your own nerves is just to take a breath every now and then. But you have some great discourse markers at the beginning of all of your sentences and to connect sentences. So here they are. So to be completely honest, unlike generally, so I only have one sibling I'm currently residing in specifically. That's quite hard to say. Yes, definitely, based on my experience. It's actually my dream. It's actually a basic understanding here that health isn't a right, it's a privilege. Wow, that's a huge statement right there. And 10 years is a long time. So those are just a few of the things that you said. And I will really commend you and have everybody watch the way that you're speaking. You don't just read it to me, you feel it when you are saying it. And I can feel your emotion when you are speaking to me. It seems like these questions were made specifically for you, though. So I would be interested to see if she got the space questions like the last week, how you would do. But I'm pretty sure that you would do just as well. Your fluency is excellent. You flow very well. If you don't know an answer, you use a great beginning so that you have more chance to think about it. Some of the great vocabulary that you used were nuclear family, sibling. You said a student. He was a Marine or Seafarers Academy, because you're explaining to me because you don't know if I know that terminology. And you said it to me in a way that it wasn't condescending, but you were just giving more clarification. You said follow in the footsteps of your father. You called your city a city of love. Some other words that you used were approachable, urbanized, fallback, traffic jams, developing, fulfill, disruption, patterns, culture shock. You said not adjust, but adapt. So you didn't like the word that you used, so you changed it and you came up with a better word. You talked about being in a stable condition and about how textbooks are published abroad, and that you talked about credentials, and you said people don't have the ability or the means. So that's two great words that sort of mean similar things. And I liked how you said you would like to spearhead something in the future. And you said that the masses are kind of left without. So instead of just saying the people, you said the masses, and that just has so much more meaning to it. It's like a really big depth. One thing I can pick out is when you said something is a 180 turn for you. The only thing that I've heard people say is 180 degree turn. So your meaning is not lost. It's just 180 degree turn, but 180 turn is the same. It's pretty much the same meaning. You self-corrected yourself when you said grandmother. And then the only word I would like to talk about is graduate. So can you say graduate?
Graduate.
Perfect. You did it.
Okay, thank
So it's
you.
graduate. So you're done.
Graduate. Okay, thank you so much, Andy.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Sir
no
Jess,
problem.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zaya. Actually, I will read some of the comments. What they said. Adorable diction and tone. And then someone said that it's like their nose bleeding. And people from Manila and Cebu, that's Mandy, a top cities in the Philippines.
I'm sorry.
Folks left the group. They left the group because she said that she's from Iloilo.
I'm sorry, I'm biased.
Yeah, and said there's someone from April speaking band score of 10. So you're more than perfection.
Yeah.
Okay. She said, Grace Florentina said, like, she can talk in TEDx, TED Talks.
Yeah, she can give a TED Talk for sure.
So, yeah. So, that's it for Saya. I hope to see you. Saya, are you in the group? Like, Facebook group or WhatsApp group?
I'm currently in the WhatsApp.
Are you in our group?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, I'm gonna hunt you there. Actually, I asked if you're in. Okay, thank you, Saya. See you
Thank you
next
so
time
much.
again.
See you.
So-
Mandy, thank you so much.
You're
for the-
welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye. Terai. First, we will go back to Terai. I hope
Is it
she
working?
solved some of her. Terai. I don't think.
Okay, let me check.
Terai. I think we can still hear you. But we have a reserve.
I hear
Is that right?
something.
It's not working, Terai. Can you not use your headset?
Yeah, if we
Can
take
you-
it out of the computer
Yeah.
completely.
Remove from your. So yeah, we cannot hear you. So I really
So,
feel sad for you,
That's
Terai.
okay. What Tara can do is, if she wants to talk with me on Zoom another
Yeah.
time, so we can get your settings
next week.
correct.